Hi everyone, it's FOMC day. That means it's Wednesday. Today is the 18th of September, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and we are staring down some charts that are generally bullish, right? So this is how we're going to framework, generally bullish. Now you'll notice that I'm putting some lines at the Europe Open candlestick. Why? Because as I build stuff for the SPY and the Qs, it looks very different to the indices, and I want to see what holds. You know, at this juncture, I believe it's the 8 to 9 candlestick that tells me, you could have some pretty solid ranges that will tell you where the market's going to sit. But a lot of people will argue that it's the 9 to 10 a.m. candlestick. And so while we look at these lines, if you find yourself getting frustrated going, Henry, what are you measuring? You're going all over the place. What's going on? I am looking for price patterns in the near term that will focus on giving me opportunity for trending formations with little risk. So, for instance, if I look at that 8 a.m. candlestick close from the 16th, 2 days ago, and I noticed yesterday I collapsed right down into it, and my big moving average is up, I know I'm probably going to see buyers somewhere down here. And so that's why these levels are sitting here for me to help me go, hey, these are likely target zones for algorithmic trading that are going to come in, trigger, and then give us an opportunity to run. This is what we continue to look for. 4 a.m. candlestick today was very thin. And of course, that's FOMC behavior, right? Starting to move a little bit, but what do you know? Look at where it's bouncing to the top of that 1 hour candlestick. So these levels matter, right? So if it's coming down here and you're saying, all right, I'm above my moving average, I probably need to see if it's going to hold. Well, look at that. It's holding, so where should I bounce? Probably back into value area high and the low of yesterday's 4-hour open candlestick, because that's what we've been dancing around. All right, trend is still up. It is still by the dip, but look at how savage the dip was yesterday. Pretty beastly, okay? Let's go to the Qs. You can see the levels that I'm watching. I would, listen, today's going to be very volatile. If I had a wish, I would say, listen, practice account today. Practice account, learn your platform, take some sim trades, whatever. But for goodness sakes, don't bet big money here. I can't tell you how much money I've lost on FOMC days. It runs in the tens of thousands. So don't do it. I'm just begging you. Don't do it. Okay, what are we looking at? Same formation here. This is a 30, right? No, that's a 40. We didn't move that yesterday for the Q's action, and the others don't care. So literally, we've been 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a range. There's a break coming, but we're sitting in a very tight range. And so our hourly and midnight bars are going to get super choppy on each other. Let's collapse in, see what the Q's are telling us. We have higher lows, but this is a news day, so we could test those old lows. My thought is, look down here for bounces before you try to take longs that might give you something spectacular. All right? That's off of the range. We can see that we're sitting between the 8 a.m. candlesticks of days past, and right, literally, just what a very noisy space. 4 a.m. range, if we do look at that 4 a.m. range, we can see that we're inside of it, back and forth all day since they started trading. That's very, very noisy, as opposed to yesterday where they broke out of it and up and broke through it and down. That's very, very interesting, right? But it absolutely is a space that says, listen, if I'm above it and I've got trend, my pullbacks are going to be buy zones. If I'm below it and I've got trend, my bounces are going to be sell zones, right? And so if we stare down the 4 a.m. candlestick from several days past, we don't really see anything that triggers here, right? Here's a 4 a.m. Tells us heavy congestion, but really nothing. 4 a.m., the next 4 a.m. candlestick region of consequence is way down here at 470, which I just talked about, saying, hey, listen, that ideally would be a nice dip buying event. Good grief, I'm talking way too much. Hello. Nope. Let's go to the ES. This is still in the forward contract, so it's saying 2. It takes a while for these guys to move over. This is super interesting. Here is the opening range candlestick, right? And we came down into it, and now look where we're sitting, at the top of the range. Now, how might we take a trade like this? Listen, what are the slopes of these moving averages? They're flat. So it's going to be a range-based trade. You take the long there, you have the risk defined right here. You take the long, you let it bounce. As it gets up into here, you take some profit and you raise that stop way up, or you simply get out of the trade, right? Because we are testing the VWAP from below. This is still a very strong trend. Everything is sideways. So we could rock it up, we could rock it down, but this is a place to take some profit. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, what are we looking at today? If per happenstance we hold that opening range low at 56.95-ish and some change, we're going to head to potentially 57.10, 57.13. Where is the 4 a.m. candlestick here? Yeah, 57.30. That's the 5 a.m. candlestick. 4 a.m. high is 57.14.50. 4 a.m. low, for heaven's sakes, 57.09.50. All right, we could be sideways all day long. Could you make some money? Yes. Trade one contract. Don't trade 5. Don't trade 10. Just trade one. Here it is for the Qs. Now, you know the one thing that we do test here in the Qs. I think I will pop up the 4 a.m. candlestick, but the most important candlestick formation for the Qs is the midnight candlestick formation, and here it is. So I'm going to borrow one of the other lines. Actually, I'm going to leave that line alone, and I'm going to use this line, the dashed one. These are the dashed ones that we're holding for the midnight candlestick. And so this is the edge that we're sitting in. And look at what just happened. We moved from the bottom of the midnight candlestick right back up to the top. Literally, this candlestick right here. We just retraced it. Now, how can we feel like, hey, this is a place where we could take a long? The overall trend is up, and it's been ranging all day. So recent past tells us about near-term future. Where could this go? 714, 726, right? We're inside of, that's, what candlestick is that? No, that's the 3 a.m. candle. 4 a.m. candlestick is, well, that's interesting. That's at the top of the opening range candlestick. It's very, very interesting. Lots of noise. So we are going to look at these and go, all right, where's everybody clustering? And then we know, hey, that's a good place for me to take half my profit, let it ride. How do you know if you want to ride? Collapse into a small time frame. Make sure it's pointing to the upside, right? And just let it run into the next level. This is yesterday's VWAP. All right, next. Did I do the YM? Yes. No, that's next. All right, here we go. YM. Noisy, clearly, right? Let's add this 4 a.m. I'm going to get TrendSpider to code this for us, so we can figure out which ones we want to keep, which ones we want to lose, see what's going on, and I think it's going to be great. So that's going to be fantastic, actually. So, excuse me. What are we looking at? More bullish than the others, but again, look at this. Opening candlestick low, right down here. What did we just come into? Opening candlestick low. This Fibonacci I'm going to remove. It is annoying me. Right down there. Opening range. Comes to the low. Where's it going? It got the top of the range. Here's the 4-hour London Open. I'm guessing that's the target, 42.87. That's going to be the place where we go, I probably ought to take some profit. right? You might say, well, Emery, why can't I look at, okay, I lost my brain. Why can't I look at an area that's closer to the POC? Of course you can. You can do anything you like. My thought is, it's obviously trading a range. The traders are obviously using these lines, so let's follow along and let's use them. All right? Slow and steady until you get the rhythm, and then you can size up. All right? It's going to get very messy. I'm not trading at all in the afternoon today. I might take a couple of trades this morning, but I'm not trading. This is just a very messy patch, and as soon as we get in, we can see very wide wicks and a lot of alarming moves. But there are there to be made, and if you're quick on the trigger, you're going to make some bucks. All right, everybody, I'll see you on the stream.